people, it's its own thing. Like, and then I feel like, what am I, the custodian of things? Am I the custodian of the horse? Am I the, like, if I were on the train, am I the conductor? And then I'm just running this train, and all these passengers came on board simply because presented a train, and then I started like driving the train. And it's so you don't even like know, like you can't plan it, you can't really think about it. It really was a lot of impulse, and just like it was like with small amounts of plans. Like I just didn't leave the horse in the trash. I left a sign saying "Do not throw it away." That I wrote in on a piece of cardboard with a marker. Even going back before that, hanging out with a friend of mine who was doing this payphones project during this time, and then I took an Instagram picture of me on a payphone that was actually part of an art project that somebody left. That actually, when you pick up the old payphone, it plays this recorded message where it says you were able to use that phone to, I guess, let out your feelings, or if you have anything on your mind, that was what that phone was for, to kind of just like scream in, whatever. That post uh, made that guy who was working on this payphones project send me a direct message saying, "Hey, what have you been doing lately?" Blah blah blah. So this was the artist I was hanging out with when we were gallery hopping, and that we happened to stumble across this horse on Eldridge and Delancey. So it's like you're going back into this scale, like going back and back and back to like where is like the origin of this? Was it when I made the phone call to the ride company, which was, then I met this artist before I was even starting on that project. So I met her first, and then the horse thing, and then the phone thing, and then meeting up with that guy, and then I'm trying to draw like a line. I guess I should get it on paper. I'm trying to almost like draw a diagram, and I don't know where, and I actually don't know where it actually, like, so what is this? So like it was in a show. We brought it back to the gallery a couple of hours ago. Now what? So is the horse just going to sit there? Is there more to come? Is there a period at the end of the sentence? And this is where things kind of just get confusing because, while this has been an interesting 6 weeks, but what did it ultimately accomplish? Because if you retell the story, and if I tell people about it and put my mini mentory kit, it's like, okay, so what happened? Like it's a plot. Where's the plot? Where's the conclusion? Where's the bow on the gift? And like I don't know. I'm still kind of like trying to figure it out. I know that it opened up some ideas, maybe some kind of relationships with people, but nothing like that mind bending or mind altering. Not like, hey, I met my wife, or I met a future business partner, we made millions, like it's not like that. I mean, I don't even know if it's like that yet, but it's not like that. Like all of a sudden it's all this energy, and like it all went into this super alignment to like rescue me from the depths of my depression and sadness and God knows what else has been going on, and to also make sure that give me a reason not to wrap my lips around a bottle and just hang out in my apartment screaming to Queensryche and Def Leppard. Like, was it just one big distraction? You try to make sense of, it's like trying to make sense of a car accident. Like, why did I get into an accident? What's wrong with, why did that guy happen to be leaving for work, and then he blew a light, and this would happen, this whole like begetting of a situation because somebody I don't know who threw this horse away. I don't know. That still is like one of the key elements of the whole story is, well, the motor didn't work. I had to fix the motor. I just had to unplug one motor from another, and like wasn't really a lot of work. But someone plugged it in, it didn't work, and they put it on the street. And I want to know like who did that. and why? And why is probably because it didn't work, but who and where was it that they thought, and like what is their account of events? Like, I have no idea. I have no idea. They don't even. It was in front of a building. I don't know what. Like, did they carry it down the stairs? I don't know. Was it for their kids? Where did they get it from? Did they buy it? Because you can't just buy these things. I mean, you can on eBay, I guess, but it's not something like you go into a store and be like, hey, I want that mechanical horse that takes quarters. It's like, it's not that difficult, I guess, is how it used to be. Like, like I remember being as a kid, and like walking to an arcade or a pizzeria that had video, and like, how can I buy this thing? And they're like, no, you can't. You can't just buy an arcade because it's like you can't buy a vending machine, like, because it was like contracts and things like that. You couldn't buy a soda machine. Like, that's just how I guess it was. Maybe still is to a degree, but these things weren't for purchase, like straight up. You couldn't go to Toys R Us and get a mechanical ride. That's just not how it was. I don't know if somebody was actually in the business of mechanical rides, or they just had a friend and they got rid of it, had a store and they got rid of it because it was in pretty good shape. So, and then like I'm going through like the journey, the story, the people that I met before and after and during, like, and trying to connect these dots. And I don't know what pattern it is. I don't know, like, does it, if I get the information written down and somehow on a diagram, can I predict something in the future? Like, if am I getting a sneak peek into some sort of cosmic clock? I don't know. That's why it's, putting it on paper, and then putting lines and like circles and bubbles around things. What answers will it yield, and like, how do I apply that to the stock market? Like, do I apply it to what exactly? It's a mission without a reason, and then you kind of go kind of crazy because it's like, is that just how it is? It's just like it's all very pointless. There's just something going on behind the scenes, behind the curtain. It has nothing to do with you. Like, I just had to be the most favorable choice at that time. Somebody could have thrown it out the night before, and it would have never been found. Somebody could have, well, or at least a week before, because if it gets bulk night, somebody could have thrown it out a week earlier or a week later. None of this would have happened. That had to be that particular night, and but that particular bulk garbage night. It's not, it's not every night. You can't just wake up and throw something out like that, because they need, like, that's the whole point of the bulk night, so everybody knows. And then you have to be on that street, and you might, you have yourself go crazy, because then you have, like, well, that's pretty much everything, right? Everything's just chance and coincidence, like, good things and bad things. So, and this idea of also being deliberate. If like I've said before, like, if it was luck, then it would be passive. Somebody would have just called me and said, hey, you want a horse? And I would have said yes, and that would have been the end of the story. Not finding it in the garbage, throwing on a sign on it, getting like a dolly the next day and pushing it, like, it would, like, if there was like genuine good fortune around, then there would be very, very little to do, very little exertion, very little, I guess, confusion and uncertainty. Luck feels very certain to me. People that are lucky, it's just like, well, of course it's going to work out. I don't know exactly how, but it will. Like, I don't have any of that confidence ever. I doubt myself constantly. Like, I don't do things all the time because I just have this, overwhelming sense. I'm like, why should I even bother when I'm going to screw it up anyway? So that's how my mentality works. And so there's a lot of things I simply don't do because I think about it, I look at the situation, I size it up, I'm like, it's either uh, out of my league, or as they say, like, that's beyond or outside my pay grade. You go into these places where you're just It's like you ever read The Fox and the Grapes? It's like that's how it feels sometimes. It's like the fox that keeps trying to get the grapes, and he can't. He jumps, he tries to climb. He can't reach these grapes, and in the end, he's like, they're probably sour anyway. And that's how I feel. Like, like, and that's how I felt like about the horse. Like, it's probably sour anyway. It's like, well, it doesn't work, which it didn't. It didn't work. But until I opened it up and fixed it, or took the gut, took the motor out, and I realized, oh, but I knew how to do that. I knew enough, at least. And I put that motor back in 3 times. I've taken that motor out. So yeah, and you think like right place, right time. Okay, great. Right place, right time for a mechanical horse. When you think right place, right time, it's like, well, I'm in the Klondike. I got a pickaxe. I hit that vein of gold right away, like one strike, boom. I'm rich. That's how I equate when I think about right place, right time. More than even like a lottery ticket. A lottery ticket's kind of more random. You buy a lotto ticket, and whether numbers come up or not, whatever. Right place, right time is kind of just like, the I don't know, the guy that like is like the millionth customer at Kmart or something, and then they give him like a $10,000 check or something. I don't know. I'm trying to think of examples. I really can't think of like right place, right time example, but which is rare in life, which is rare for me. But with the answer that is very clear from pretty much either from the beginning or maybe like 1 or 2 steps in. This is all drawn out, so I don't know what this means. Like, it's like it means maybe it just doesn't mean anything. Maybe it was just a way to pass the time. That's all. That's all it was, man. You just needed to do something with these long winter days, and that's that. And it's had its journey. You met some people. We had some fun. Maybe that's all it was. Whether or not you profit in any way, um, date someone who knows what it is that uh, you can't really you can't put your values, you can't put your ideas into it, like, because that's the automatic mode. That's my dad would think, be like, well, did you make money doing this? Like, did you get rich? And like, no. It's like, then what the fuck was it for? Like, why put all that strength and energy and time and effort and who knows what into something that really wound up being like, can't call it a dead end, but just, an endeavor for the sake of an endeavor. But then, what is a vacation? What is a vacation? Does a vacation solve anything? You have to come back home, right? I mean, you might be able to relax and recharge, but then, I don't know, you get into these things, it's like, if there's no clear point, then you might think, well, there's not, what's the point of doing anything at all? What is then don't do anything, right? If there is no final product, if there is no, more zeros in your bank account in the good way, you made a vital connection, like, somehow you met Keanu Reeves because you had, like, I mean, stuff that's a little bit, and he wants his home decorated by you, like that, almost that kind of knee-jerk immediacy of luck and of opportunity, not this kind of like almost this